This is the earthworm's way of catching fish. First, it looks around to check the situation underwater. Once it locks onto the prey's position, it takes out a powder puff from its arms, takes out a lipstick, and applies it to its lips. With slightly tipsy red lips, blurred eyes, and a coquettish demeanor, these become its weapons to lure the enemy. The unsuspecting fish actually swims over. The earthworm also uses its usual fishing trick. It starts to grope the fish, pretending to flirt, then takes out a big wooden hammer and smashes it towards the fish's head. The stunned fish can only let the earthworm do as it pleases, becoming the fisherman's catch. But during the day, this fish was still a student in the underwater kindergarten. However, unlike other fish, it extremely hated the underwater school. Even though the fish teacher's copper bell was almost shaken to pieces, it still stood there motionless, and even cursed the female fish as an unwanted widow fish. The infuriated fish teacher used a fishing net to throw it into a hole. The fish teacher kept tapping the desk, shouting for silence. Strangely enough, before each class, he would take an apple out of his pocket, pull out the worm inside, stuff it into his mouth, and then throw the apple away directly. After eating and drinking enough, he began to explain to the fish the 4 major fish catching tools used by humans: bait, fishing rod, pan, and fish hook. To prevent being caught, his own husband was caught by humans last week and became a dish on the plate because he didn't know these things. All the fish below were listening carefully, except this one, which jumped onto the desk, used its legs as a slingshot, and kept shooting mud at the teacher. Enraged, the teacher pulled this fish alone to the front and began to ask it questions one by one about these fish catching tools. But the fish, who had never listened to the class, knew nothing about them and couldn't answer any of the questions. In a feat of anger, the fish teacher threw the fish, along with its belongings, out of the school and suspended it for 2.5 years. After leaving the underwater school, the little fish went to the sea area where the fish teacher's husband was caught. Along the way, it kept saying that the fish teacher had become a widow, a fact known to everyone, but it didn't know that it was stepping into the fisherman's trap step by step. An earthworm was sent to the seabed on a fish hook, but the fish didn't see through this trick of the fisherman and approached step by step. That's how the scene at the beginning happened. When the stunned fish woke up, it found that it was about to become a dish on the plate. It began to mobilize all its cells to struggle hard. First, it grabbed the shell of a river mussel. The baby river mussel sleeping inside found that its clothes had been stripped off, so it took out a big hammer to drive it away. At the same time, 2 big sharks also tried to eat it. It had to stop struggling and was pulled out of the sea because the fish's body was too slippery. The fisherman tried many times but couldn't catch it, and finally let the fish slip back into the sea. Back in the sea, the fish rushed into the underwater school like an underwater torpedo and admitted its mistakes to the fish teacher.